Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of The Brand New Actor with your host, Deanna Gamboa. Today we're delving into episode 4 entitled The Diamond of the Season, How to Stand Out in Auditions. Admittingly, this was inspired, you guessed it, from the Bridgerton series. In the Bridgerton series, we have the Queen, whom selects a woman of society that just stands out from the rest of the ton. And in this case, as actors, the Queen is casting, and you should strive to be the diamond of the season. As actors, we should strive to shine brightly and leave a lasting impression at every audition. So, how can you stand out from the rest of the ton? Well, first things first, by being a professional. Being a professional is the bare minimum any actor needs just to stand out. There's not a lot of professional actors nowadays, and casting just doesn't want to work with them. Generally, the things that I'm going to mention are things you should be doing for any job, or things you already know. But it's important that we reinforce them so we can create better habits and be the professional we need to be. So let's do an evaluation of how professional you are. 1, are you punctual? And I'm not talking about getting there in the nick of time or looking for parking or being 5 minutes away when you are supposed to be in the audition room. That's a big no-no, a big red flag, especially if you're not communicating with a stage manager or casting that you're going to be late for any reason. Being on time means that you're planning ahead, 15 to 20 minutes bare minimum, so that way you can, face the unexpected. Perhaps there's traffic, or you need to find parking, or have to walk a mile just to get to the audition room. So many things could happen. And you just need to give yourself at least 5 minutes to sign in and just sit down for a second and breathe and relax and prepare for your audition to do your best. Like I always say, half the battle is just getting there, especially if you live in a major city like Miami. Second, do you have etiquette? From the moment that you enter the vicinity of the audition, from the parking lot to the audition room, you need to establish good conduct. Be nice to everyone, from the person that's checking you in to your peers that are there also auditioning. Always say please and thank you. Don't give the cold shoulder to people that are going for the same role as you. Rather, be potentially a good cast member. Show that in the audition room, and they'll want to hire you for just being a good person. I mean, you never know. You make a connection with an actor and you're in callbacks and you guys are reading together. But because you made that connection prior to the callback, you have a good reading together. You have that chemistry that they're looking for. So you never know who's watching. And like I said, being unprofessional, being a diva, eventually no one wants to work with them. It gets old, no matter how talented you are. Lastly, do you follow instructions? But like truly, do you follow instructions? Read everything when given a breakdown. And when you think you understand everything, read it again. If you don't understand, read again and again until you get it. Seriously. Typically, I find that commercial castings are just overcomplicated instructions. Sometimes I feel unsure, but I force myself to reread and read it again and again and again until I understand and I can follow the directions to the T. And since they see a lot of talent, the moment you don't follow directions or have some type of hesitation, they're gonna rule you out in seconds. If you were supposed to record vertically and you did it horizontally, or you forgot to include something that they asked for specifically, they could just move on. They'll be like, this person doesn't know how to follow directions. Next. And just a little parentheses in all of this. Don't ask too many questions. You know the saying that there are no dumb questions? I would consider that a partial truth, because if you're asking something already implied in a breakdown or some type of instructions that you already received and you like skipped over it or something, some individuals in casting will become frustrated if they have to repeat things to you. They don't like doing that. So if you don't follow instructions, you're gonna stand out, and for the wrong reasons. The next tip to standing out, and this one is essential, it's my favorite, really, is to be intentional with everything. From the research to audition preparation to selecting audition pieces and even wardrobe. First, you need to research. So depending on the project, whether it's for theater or for on-camera, like a commercial, television, film, etc., you need to do your research and prepare accordingly. If it's a theater holding season auditions, I suggest looking into all the shows that they're producing, find out everything that you can about the shows, from the style, the era, the characters that you see yourself playing that are within your age range or your vocal range, etc. The research can go on and on and on. If it's a commercial audition, you might want to research the company, the product that you're going to be auditioning for. You know, what are their colors? What does their logo look like, etc.? What is their mission statement? The list of research can go on and on and on. But the more you know, the better. Overall, your research is going to help you to make more informed and better choices in the audition room. And you can just share the knowledge that you have acquired. And that's gonna make you stand out from the rest. The rest that know absolutely nothing, have no idea what they're auditioning for. For example, I attended a commercial audition for a bank. It was like credit or something, credit union bank. And they were asking us some impromptu questions, like on the spot. You know, you did your slate and it was still rolling, the camera, which is what we call personality slate. We'll talk a little more about it. And most people had no idea how to answer the questions in the moment about credit. They had no idea. And so casting literally came outside and was like, hey guys, so they're gonna ask you the following questions about credit. If you don't know how to answer, please Google it before you come inside. And don't hesitate on camera, because the client is just not gonna hire you, you know? Luckily, I knew how to answer the questions about credit on the spot, but others didn't. Secondly, your audition pieces. Additionally, the more information that you can learn about the project that you're auditioning for, the better, because it's going to help you to select audition pieces that suggest the character, the type, or the world of the project that you are auditioning for. And I know I'm saying that very broadly, but mostly referring to theater. But, you know, in other cases, for like commercial acting, they give you specific sides, you know. But if you have to select your own audition pieces, you want to pick something that is so similar to the world of the play or the musical that you're auditioning for. Because sometimes actors give a great rendition of a monologue or a song. They do a great job. They're talented. But just because you're talented doesn't mean you get the part. Like, they'll just forget about a good audition just because they have so many people that they're looking at, and you just don't stand out in the way that you need to. because you need to be intentional and suggestive of the roles that you are auditioning for. So casting knows where to fit you into the production. Don't be general. Be specific. Be intentional. For example, if I'm auditioning for Into the Woods for the role of Red Riding Hood, well, what do I know about the character? What do I know about her vocal type? Well, she's young. Some would say in the show that she's naive. And, the solo songs she sings, I Know Things Now, suggests that she's a mezzo-soprano. She has a high belting range. So now with this information, I'm going to look for a song as my audition piece that indicates the type of similar character, which is a naive young girl with a vocal type that is a mezzo-soprano, high belting range, right? So I might pick something like, on top of my head, the Factory Girls song from Parade that has similar kind of feel. Or maybe I'm going to go with something by the same composer, which is, in this case, Stephen Sondheim. I'm going to go with a song from Anyone Can Whistle. Like, specifically, Everybody Says Don't, right? So you want to find something as similar as possible. And lastly, this is the one that nobody thinks about. Everyone thinks that they can be so general about this. Maybe, I'm just a fashionista, but wardrobe is totally underestimated for auditions, I feel. Like, your audition pieces, you want to try to wear something that is suggestive of the character, the type, the world of the play that you're auditioning for. And I'm not saying to come in costume, please. Don't be too specific about your wardrobe, right? Because then they might not see you for other characters in the show, Just be suggestive, right? For example, if I'm auditioning for a Lowe's commercial, I'm gonna wear blue, right? Because that's the company's color. I'm not going to wear orange. I'm just not. Because their competitor's color, Home Depot, is orange. So by wearing blue instead of orange, it shows that I did my research. It shows that I have knowledge and care about Lowe's, right? So another thing also happens a lot where people just, again, don't follow instructions. A lot of times, commercial castings require specific wardrobe. Sometimes as well, TV and film, there are specific types of ways you should dress. They'll say edgy girl, this, that, But if you're asked to come in a particular attire, follow instructions, because they want you to come in that attire for a reason. They want to picture you in that role. So typically, this is the case for commercial casting, as mentioned, and those that don't follow instructions lower the probability of being cast. For example, I actually attended a audition for Starbucks, and I was super excited. I was hoping that I would get it. I think I was too eager, but that's another story for another time. But we were asked to wear a bathing suit. But I was one of the few people that actually did. If there are a lot of talented actors, to narrow down the talent pool, they're going to eliminate the people that just don't follow instructions. Seriously. Don't be that person, please. Lastly, to stand out, you need to be unique. What does that mean? You need to be you, and you need to be unique. First, master your slate. Say your name nice and proudly with a smile on your face. Show some personality. And say your name clearly so they can learn your name. Trust me, I have heard that casting will just tune in or tune out depending on the first few seconds based on your slate. If they feel you're just hesitant or just not personable enough, they don't want to work with you. Let them get to know you and what makes you different from everyone else. So, as mentioned before, I was talking about something called a personality slate. This is when they ask for general information, as they do for any slate, your name, your age, your height, maybe your agency. These are just general things that they ask for in a slate. But sometimes they have what is called a personality slate, which is a regular slate, and in addition to that, some personable questions to get to know you. Sometimes they ask for a fun fact. Sometimes they ask specific questions that kind of coincide with their brand. Like I mentioned before about the credit union, right? So that is the opportunity for the client to get to know you and for you to say something that no one else would say. Speaking of doing or saying what no one else does, your choices should always reflect this. You should make choices that just come from inward, outward, and really reflect your personality. Do the unexpected to stand out. For example, I was recently at a audition for Legally Blonde, and at the end of the dance cut, we had to pose. So that was the opportunity for me to make a choice, right? And go out of the box to show who I am. Unfortunately, I was called during the mid-end of the dance cut to actually, show my skills. And I say unfortunately because I saw everyone making the choices that I wanted to make. Someone did a cartwheel, another person did a split to show their flexibility, and etc. I was like, what am I gonna do that's gonna stand out? And, sometimes you just gotta do what no one else did. So, for my dance call, I decided while I was doing my dance that I would ad-lib and I would sing and I would show that I was having a really good time. And while I'm not the most technical dancer ever since, college, I know how to dance for a performance. I know how to perform. I can convince people sometimes that I have my technique together, and I don't fully. It's a work in progress, of course. But knowing my weakness, I leaned onto my strength, which is my performance skills, right? And let's just say I really enjoyed myself, and I think others enjoyed watching me. I stood out. To the point that the choreographer learned my name, invited me to stay longer to hear me sing another piece so they can get to know me more. And I even got a call back for another production that they were having the next day. And let me just say, truthfully, I did not get cast, but I was uniquely myself. I did my job. They got to know me, and I know the next time that I go audition, I have a higher chance of getting the job. So that leads me to a little disclaimer. You need to do your job as the actor to show that you're professional, that you're personable, and you're talented. You can do everything right. You can check all of the boxes and still not get the job. You heard me. You can do everything right and still not get the job. There's just some factors that are really out of your control, and there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe they just need someone taller, someone shorter. They need someone that's plus size, or they need someone that's skinnier, or they need someone with a different height, or eye color, or hair color, or hair pattern, or whatever it may be. There's so many factors sometimes that have less to do with you. So please do not undermine your talent or your dedication. As long as you're doing your job and you know that you did a good job, you should be proud of yourself, really. I have been to so many auditions and I kill it. And I know that I killed it because of the feedback that I'm receiving. Like, that was excellent. Or your voice really suited that song. Or they end up learning my name because I leave an impression. I leave a mark in the audition room. But guess what? I don't get the job sometimes. So then it comes down again to the factors that are out of my control. And as hard as it can be in this industry, you need to learn how to let go. Ultimately, the point of auditioning isn't just to get the job. It's to perform. It's to stand out. My professor in college, Jennifer Castroverde, said something one time that just stayed with me, which was, your job isn't to get the job. It's to be a callback actor. And you're thinking to yourself, what do you mean? Isn't that the whole point, to get the job? But the reality is that you're not always going to book the job. Seriously. But if you can ace being a callback actor, then you're doing your job. And they continuously just want to see more of you. Maybe it doesn't work out for this project, but you could be considered for a future project that really aligns better with your type and vision that the casting has in mind for you. So, actor, the next time you enter the audition room, make a lasting impression. Shine brightly, don't hold back. Exert that confidence and uniqueness in you that may lead you to be the diamond of the season.